What's up, everyone? Thought I would play some Mardu cube today. I've done a couple of these already, so I don't have a ton of experience with the cube, but I always think it's fun to play these casual cubes and see how they are. And I have some ideas about these types of formats that I would like to share too. So looking at this pack, there's some good cards actually. I'll just start with the Ragavan. It seems like the best card. I like to prioritize cheap cards, so I'm gonna just play with the settings here real quick. Okay, I was just adjusting the card size there. But yeah, so I just want to talk about these, I don't know what to call them, but casual cubes, or, you know, they'll release 3-color cubes once in a while, or themed cubes, and they play a bit different from the ones that we're more used to, like a Legacy or Vintage cube. And I started off with Ragavan. You can definitely just play mono red aggro and it's going to be good. It's a little bit boring to do that. Sometimes I don't love playing the monocolor decks. So I'll just take Bloodstained Mire. The fetch lands are going to be really good, and there's nothing that's like really high power level in that pack. This is one of my first strategies for drafting this cube, is prioritize the mana fixing and prioritize cheap cards. And yeah, just try to avoid a lot of the expensive cards that are very, very replaceable. That's a strategy in general in all cubes, but it's even more so true in these casual, lower power level cubes, because basically the more expensive cards are even lower power than in Vintage or Legacy cube. So you'll see me doing that. The swords are really good in this format because there's only 3 colors, so every sword has protection from 66% of all of the cards. So I'm gonna take the swords pretty highly. I haven't experimented with that too much yet, but yeah, I know that they can be really good in this format. So looking at all the cards in this pack, this is pretty low power level. You know, if there are no cards in the pack that aren't in the higher powered cubes, like, you know, you're looking at a weak pack, and that's what pretty much every card here is, except for Recruiter, Ferocidon, and the Signet. So there's some mana fixing, which I don't want to take too highly, unless it's like fetch lands or dual lands, which is going to be the best sort of mana fixing. And so I'll just take Ferocidon. It will really make me want to go into an aggressive deck, which I don't necessarily want to force myself down that lane right away, but this pick leaves me the most open. I don't want to take a black or a white card right away unless I have to. I would prefer to play 2 colors in this cube usually. You could maybe splash the 3rd color, but in general, like, playing 3 colors, you're not going to get a ton of value compared to how inconsistent you're going to make your mana. Like, just looking at the tricolor card in this pack, this card is not very playable. So this pack, another fairly weak pack. Let's see, I might just want to take Murderous Redcap. It's a little bit weak, but that is the card I'm going to take. I don't want to take Mere Battlesphere. I want to avoid expensive cards for now, just given my start where I have like a sword and a really good cheap creature. So there's some decent cards here. Blackcleave Cliffs is fine. Lightning Skelemental, this card's decent in the format in an aggressive deck. And then there's some decent late game cards. Blot Out the Sky, Emeria's Call. I haven't tried Reanimator yet. I think I will just take the Lightning Skelemental, and it's looking like we might just be like a burn deck. So yeah, notably here is like a high power level card, Restoration Angel. It's probably not good enough to make me want to go into white, but I do really like this card. And then there's Mask, which goes in a sacrifice theme. So far, I've played the cube twice. I haven't gone into any of the archetypes. I've kind of just played like good cards, and I've 3-0'd both of the drafts. So I think some of the archetypes might be a bit of a trap. Like Reanimator, for example, it might just be a little bit underpowered, or Sacrifice, it might be a little underpowered compared to kind of what I'm trying to do here, just attacking the player's life total. There's really good cards to do that. So yeah, I'm still not seeing a reason to move out of red. Shieldbreaker, I like this card. There's plenty of artifacts in the format, and like I said, the swords are really good. This is kind of late in the cube's lifespan. It's already been out for maybe a week, or at least 5 days, so I think people at this point know that the swords are good. So now I have one way to destroy a sword. I'm pretty happy with that. Now this is the pack we started with, and there's some red cards. Biting Palm Ninja, this card's fine. The White God, that card is fine. I'll just take Burn Down the House. I think it's the strongest card. I didn't even read those other cards. Honestly, you don't really need to read a lot of these random filler cards that they've put into the cube. They're just kind of all like uncommon power level or like weak rare power level. And like I said, I'm not really looking for synergies. There's probably some sweet synergy decks you can make, but there's a ton of removal in the cube as well. I'm going to take this removal spell. It's pretty easy to get artifacts. And yeah, Unlicensed Disintegration. This is pretty strong. Destroys any creature and even does 3 damage some of the time if I have my sword or a treasure in play. Woe Strider is a pretty solid card. Stuffy Doll. This card combos with, there's a few cards in the cube that do a lot of damage to all creatures, but I'm going to be more of the Woe Strider style though. My deck is going to have a lot of creatures on the battlefield and be attacking instead of being more controlling. That's what you would want with Stuffy Doll. And then this Planeswalker has been okay. I don't know. I think it's a little bit weak. I think it's probably better than Zulaport Cutthroat. It looks like the sacrifice theme is open, but I don't necessarily want to go down that lane. And Rolling Earthquake, that's more of a controlling card to sweep the board. And both of these cards are okay. I don't feel like I'm going to be all in on equipments or sacrificing, so I'll pass the Mortar Pod. So we're set up to be an aggressive red deck, possibly splashing black, and we have a pretty good start. We're missing removal. Really cheap removal like Lightning Bolt is really at a premium in these cubes, and this pack looks like a pretty easy choice. I'll just take the Thundermaw Hellkite, even though I do want to prioritize cheaper cards. Like I mentioned, I mean, this is a bit of a lower powered cube, so when you do get the absolute premium 5-drops like Thundermaw or Avacyn, like stuff that is in the highest power cubes, you're going to have to take that stuff. So stuff like rarity does matter sometimes. So like sometimes you just have to take the mythic. I'm not going to take this 1-drop because it's really one of the weaker 1-drops. So this, not too close here. I'll just take the Thundermaw. This card's really good. So I was mentioning about the cheap removal spells. Yeah, the thing about stuff like Lightning Bolt or Path to Exile, Swords to Plowshares, there's only so many of those cards in all of Magic. You know, there's only a few. And really the number of like 4 and 5-drops is so numerous. And you can see how many that they jammed into this cube. Stuff like Zariel, stuff that's like really weak power level. So yeah, that's one of my strategies for this cube is cheap, powerful tempo plays are like really at a premium compared to other cubes. So Unexpectedly Absent, I would put that in that category, but I'm probably not going to be able to use that card just because it's double white. So I'm going to take Mutavault. And now there are some strong cards here. I like Den of the Bugbear, Kolaghan's Command, Lelia. These are 2 cards that are both in the high power cubes, just really strong cards on their own. And so yeah, I'm just going to defer to that like power level over anything at this point, and I think Lelia is the best. And it's only red. I do want to limit the black splash, even though we have 2 fixing lands. But yeah, I would like to play as few black sources as possible. Scrubland, so this would help me splash, but I just don't think I'm going to gain that much from splashing white in this deck. A lot of the powerful cards are going to be double white. I won't be able to play those, so it's kind of hard to think of a single white card that is so good I would want to splash it, like Path to Exile or Swords to Plowshares or a Planeswalker. Those are actually fairly replaceable and not that worth splashing. It's possible I could move over into white if I really thought it was open, but it was not that open in the first pack. Maybe it's a bit more open from this direction, I think, but I'll just keep taking the red cards. Lavamancer is totally fine. Vortex is definitely going to be good. There's plenty of life gain in this cube, just because white is a bigger proportion of the colors than in regular Magic, where there's 5 colors. And yeah, I'm not really taking it over anything. Obosh, this could be cool to play this as your companion. I haven't tried that yet. You'd have to take out the 2 and 4-drops, which wouldn't be terrible. Maybe if that wheels. Bituminous Blast, that card is playable. I really like Esper Sentinel a lot. Krenzo, this card is pretty solid also. It comes down at almost any spot on the curve, and then it's a card advantage engine. So I can see that my 3-drop slot is getting a little bit full, so that will make me want something like Grenzo or Pyromancer more than the Witch, even though this Witch is maybe a higher power level. I think Grenzo might be a little bit better than Pyromancer. That's kind of a tough one. Kalitas is definitely among the strong cards in this pack, but I don't want to try to cast that with my mana base. Conscripts is fine. I don't love the card. It's not good on empty board states or sometimes against control decks. It's a little weak, but I probably have to take it here. Life of Toshiro Umezawa, just a little bit weak. But here's some other very medium power cards and a creature land. So I'll be pretty happy to take the Lava Claw Reaches. Will just make my mana better and give me another threat. And yeah, I'll just take the 1-drop. I might not play this. I might like sideboard it. Yeah, I think these formats, they tend to just be like mid-range battles. With lower power level, it's really hard to be the mono red deck that has a ton of burn spells, a ton of 1-drops, and just wins the game really quickly. So I'm not sure what I'm going to take here. Maybe Lightning Axe. I don't have any Madness outlets yet. Okay, Kolaghan's Command Wield, that's really awesome. So I feel good about being in black-red. Because yeah, I feel like this card should really not be wheeling. And Yawgmoth, this could be good in some matchups. It's kind of hard for me to cast. And then Gyruda, you need only even mana cards in your main deck to companion this, which is probably not going to happen for me, so I'll take Bituminous Blast. It removes it's like a Flametongue Kavu, but it's 5 mana. Winota, I'm not sure if that could be good. You might have to build your deck around it. So I have a ton of playables, and there's still one whole pack left. So that's another reason to just prioritize mana fixing, prioritize lands, and prioritize effects that are not replaceable. Which, yeah, we haven't had too many chances to do that so far, actually. So here we can either take a burn spell, Cathartic Pyre, which is a pretty mediocre one, so you can kind of see what I mean by the lower power level. It only targets creatures and planeswalkers. It can't target the player. And so yeah, there's a lot of cards like this, and that's why you want your decks to be more mid-range and less all-in aggressive. And then there's a really strong power level card here, which is Grave Titan. And it is a 6-drop. It's double black, which I don't want double black in my deck, but it's a 6-drop, so it's not as bad to have double black there. So this is fairly difficult. I think I can still take the burn spell. It's what my deck is missing, and I do have stuff like Grenzo, Thundermaw. I have some good 5-drops, and I might get past some more dragons and stuff. So I don't think I'm going to need the Grave Titan. Here's another fetch land. Figure of Destiny is solid. It's going to be hard to fully level it up in this deck because I'm red-black, not red-white. I like Runaway Steamkin. Pretty good aggressive creature. And yeah, currently the Arid Mesa does not fetch a red-black duel, but I think it's fine to speculate. If I can get this pack back with Figure of Destiny or Steamkin, I think those are like almost the same power level. But this Arid Mesa, that's not going to be coming back, so I'll take that. And okay, there's bounce lands in this cube too. Rakdos, Carnarium. These are really good in the slower decks where you don't mind the tempo loss. But for me, I think I will just take the strongest power level red card, which is Bone Crusher Giant. This Mirror is kind of a cool card. It accelerates you, and it comes into play as a copy of any creature until end of turn and gets haste. So you could attack or get a comes into play ability. It's kind of a cool card. So I like Dragon Skull Summit and these red-black Bedevil and Olivia Crimson Bride. These are like just okay cards. Morbid Opportunist. I'm kind of avoiding combos like that. Just kind of going with cards that are really strong on their own. And so Flametongue Kavu is going to be the answer there. Dragon Skull Summit would be very solid too, but my mana is just pretty good. I think I can take Flametongue Kavu, which is, if I take it, it will be the best 4-drop that I have. So this is a card that's not super replaceable. It's actually really high power level. So there's not really any cards I want out of this pack. Hellrider is like fine, but we're not exactly using it to its fullest here. We don't have like tokens and we're not exactly all in red. So I actually don't think I'll play any card in this pack. But even with that said, I'll just take Hellrider. Maybe in some matchups it will be good. I feel like Meathook Massacre is quite good in the format. It's probably not for my deck. And then Rekindling Phoenix. This card could definitely replace some of these weaker 4-drops I have. I do like this card. It's resilient against a lot of forms of removal. So now I could take kind of some mediocre creatures. I do like Solemn a lot. Our deck is not a great Solemn deck. It can bring us up to 5 mana, but not to 6. And then Perforos's Intervention deals 2 damage for 2 mana. It's just another weak burn spell. Kind of interesting. I think it's a sorcery. It's just kind of a weak card. So I'm just going to pass it. And now we get past Inferno Titan really late. And yeah, I like to play this card for sure. It's extremely powerful. It's really good with Solemn. I already mentioned how the deck, it doesn't want to be all in. It wants to be more towards the mid-range and late game. So yeah, I'm really happy to take that card. Yeah, there's probably not going to be much coming around that I can play at this point. Let's see, I'd like Midnight Reaper quite a bit, actually. It's just really good in the creature matchups, so I'll take that. Cubes like this, they tend to play out like somewhat as a mix between a regular cube and a regular booster draft. And so there's lots of like board states that get a lot of creatures on them, a lot of creatures trading, etc. Yeah, Midnight Reaper is really good in those situations. I don't really think I can play any of these. Godo, this is a pretty awesome card, but okay, we got Dragon Skull Summit back. I'm happy about that. I think Godo is just a little bit slow. It does fetch out the Sword of War and Peace. So this deck came out okay. It's missing like some... I mean, we started out with Ragavan and then we didn't really get any great 1-drops or 2-drops after that. So it's kind of missing that, and it's missing good removal. We actually didn't even see stuff like Lightning Bolt or any other 1-mana removal. But we have tons of playables, so I'm just going to mostly cut cards here on power level and for curve considerations as well. You can see that we have a lot of 4 and 3 drops, so I'm going to cut a lot of those. So which ones will be first to go? Yawgmoth, it's too hard to cast. Zariel, I think, is one of the weaker cards. I think Murderous Redcap, also one of the weaker cards. These 3-drops are among some of the best cards in the deck, I think. So it will be a little hard to cut some of them. And then I have some weaker 5-drops. Burn Down the House. I'm going to sideboard that one. We're not going to want to do 5 damage to each creature, usually, on turn 5. And then the Blast is decent. It has Cascade, so you want to like look at what your deck is made up of. You know, if you have a lot of 1-drops, the Cascade is a bit weaker. If you have a lot of 4-drops, Cascade is a little bit better. So the black cards might be some of the first to go. So I think I'm happy enough cutting Woe Strider, even though I like the card just because it is black. I will cut it. Then Lightning Skelemental. I kind of want to try this card out. I don't know. It's decent. It's kind of like a 3-for-1. It does like 6 damage and makes them discard 2 cards. It's good with Midnight Reaper. It's really bad against first strike creatures. I can sideboard it out against those style decks. I think I can afford to take out Bituminous Blast. It's just not efficient. I just want to cut out one more card. I don't love the Lightning Axe, because I don't really want to be discarding a card, but it can give us a tempo advantage, and this is the style deck that can definitely take advantage of that tempo advantage. So I think we just need it in the deck, because we're missing the cheap removal. And I think I'll just cut Hellrider. This card is better when you have more cheap creatures, and we do not have a ton of cheap creatures. So I think that's actually one of the weaker cards. So yeah, you can see that this is a lot different from a normal, like a Legacy Cube mono red or red deck splashing black. It's a little, the curve is a bit higher. It has controlling elements as well as aggressive elements. But okay, let's see how this deck does. I'm gonna not play the Mutavault too. I can probably afford to play the Mutavault. We have decent mana fixing. Okay, here we are for the first round. I'm gonna play first, and this hand looks fine, so we're gonna keep. The Arid Mesa only gets mountains from the deck, so I'm going to save that for later. I'm just going to change the card sizes real quick. I'm just playing around with these settings. Okay, that looks fine. So yeah, we'll just continue playing our mountains. So the opponent is playing at least red and white. And I can either play my sword or my Ferocidon. I can keep up Bone Crusher. I'm just going to play out the Ferocidon. There's not that many 2-mana removal spells in the format, actually. I'm not really going to play around too much. Okay, it looks like they might have a life gain theme. So Ferocidon is looking pretty good against that. Okay, nice. We find a black source. And I'm going to want to save this sword for when I have 5 mana available. And yeah, I'm just going to fetch out a swamp. And I'll just spend all of my mana. So we're going to want to watch out for a Wrath of God, but it looks like the opponent might be playing a controlling deck. But yeah, we have the Phoenix. This plays around Wrath. Happy to put at least this much pressure on the board. The Sword of War and Peace is going to be really good here. Okay, so we're going to draw this Phoenix not this turn, but the following turn. Okay, so I can either... I basically have 2 haste threats here. I have a sword and I have a dragon. So the sword, I haven't used this in a while. Yeah, so it's going to deal damage equal to the number of cards in their hand, which is 6. So this actually does more damage than the Hellkite, so that seems fine to me. And this play is also better against Wrath of God. It's better against removal in general. They're just actually going to need a sweeper or maybe a black card or an artifact, because otherwise this Ferocidon is going to kill them next turn. Okay, so that doesn't do anything right now. They can gain 2 life, but nothing's going to happen from that. And then they play a red creature. Okay, so we're just going to attack for game. And yeah, he's definitely seeing the power of the sword here, but a bit of a slow start for my opponent. And yeah, Dawn of Hope, definitely a cool card. Not sure how playable it is. I will say just about my preferences for cubes that I find these tricolor cubes, well, at least this one, it is, I'm going to keep this hand. It's kind of in like this medium ground of power level. It's got some, it has some really high power level cards, like Vortex or Thundermaw, Hellkite. And then it's got some like role-playing cards, like we've seen some like Dawn of Hope or stuff that works in the Sacrifice deck, and it's like combos you have to put together. And I think it's kind of awkward to put those all together into one cube. Whereas I would kind of compare it to like the vintage cube. That's like everything is extremely high power level, and then maybe on the other end of the spectrum, like the total casual cubes, like I forget the name, but there's been a few in the last 6 months or a year. Maybe like the Tinkerer's Cube was one of them. But there's some cubes that are just all casual, and like they're light on removal. They don't have a ton of mythics in them, at least not the super tier 1 mythics, and I like those cubes a lot too, actually. I mean, Vintage Cube is my favorite, like, by far. I just think that it has the most archetypes that are possible to play, the coolest combos you can do. Yeah, just an amazing cube. But yeah, I think the other cubes I really like are the casual ones. And it kind of like lets you be free to play these bad combos or like assemble all these weird cards without like dying to Sulfuric Vortex or like other really aggressive strategies. So this game has been pretty straightforward so far. It looks like they've gotten down their Memory of Toshiro. And they have 2 mana up, so I have a few options. I don't have black mana yet. I could fetch it now with Solemn. I could get Lelia down. It's not like the best thing in the world while they have 2 mana up. I do want to play an aggressive game, I would say. I mean, I have Vortex in play and I have Thunder My Hellkite next turn. So I'm going to just make the aggressive play. Okay, and we found a land off Lelia. We're not short on lands, but it's good to get that off of the top of the deck. And I'm pretty much just going to keep deploying the haste creatures. We'll see how much the opponent's able to get on board to race us. Okay, a 5/4, not bad. I can attack my Lelia into that. So this is a fairly awkward position, because if I play Thunder My Hellkite, I cannot play whatever I get off of Lelia. But if I play it, I can just attack with a 4/4 and a 5/5, and it's probably going to force a trade on the Lelia. So even though this is awkward, I think it's the best play. Yeah, I'm missing out on the Zealous Conscripts that I could have played post-combat, but I think just getting this dragon down, it's going to demand an answer. See, my opponent's going to go to 9 here, and then they'll go to... They'll take 2 more next turn, so it'll be 7. And then, yeah, dragon plus Kolaghan's Command or Kenra, this is going to be lethal. So if they can't deal with this dragon, the game's going to be over. So let's see what they have. Okay, I guess it's going to be a removal spell or maybe an angel that has flash. There's even Settle the Wreckage in this format that you need to watch out for. So what sort of options do I have? I have to assume they're going to remove the Hellkite. What's like the worst thing that could happen? They can play like Avacyn, but then they won't have lethal on the attack back though. I can return Lelia from my graveyard and attack with it for 3, but that's not exactly lethal. I think playing the Earthshaker Kenra makes sense, because it's going to do 2 damage this turn and 2 damage next turn. And then I just have to decide what else I want to do. The damage from Midnight Reaper is somewhat problematic. I think it makes sense to play it here. Let's see. It's definitely possible. I think the Avacyn is going to be the worst possible thing. Settle the Wreckage is definitely in the format as well. Yeah, so they have Settle the Wreckage. But now I have Midnight Reaper that can block. And we're kind of at parity here. So I did play into Settle the Wreckage there, but I feel like I have plenty of cards. I feel like I don't need more cards, so do I want to trade? I think trading is fine. I'm going to get an extra card from Midnight Reaper here. Okay, so I'm at 4. Now I'm going to 2. So yeah, the damage from the Reaper actually did matter. And the damage from the Sulphurous Springs. So I have to win the game on this turn. I don't think I can do that. Let's see. I have to do 5 damage to them. Okay, Trading Post will not do anything right now. So, all right, I'm going to go to 2. Wow, I think I'm just... No, do I? Yeah, this does it, actually. 2 damage to any target. I think I have enough. Okay, yeah, Bone Crusher Giant was really one of the only draws I had there. And let's see. Yeah, they're not going to have an instant on the upkeep, I don't think, because they could have used it last turn. Okay, nice. Got kind of bailed out there. Okay, here we are for round 2. We're on the play again. And this hand looks fine. I'm going to play the Lavamancer first. I'll hold on to this Shield Breaker. I don't need to play it as a 2-1. Maybe I will play it here. Okay, I don't get the option. Red-black with Ragavan, so we might be playing the mirror match, and it looks like they're off to a good start, getting some card advantage. All right, Mountain was a good draw, so I can Kolaghan's Command or Midnight Reaper. I think I just want to use the Kolaghan's Command, and then the second mode, not exactly sure what I want to do with it. Maybe just return the Grim Lavamancer. It looks like their deck might be aggressive. The Lavamancer should be good. I'm going to at least have Kolaghan's Command and Skelemental in the graveyard at some point. So let's see if they can... Okay, they might have a sacrifice theme. This is definitely something that I will want to take out with Lavamancer. So I have no way to destroy the priest on this turn. Let's see. This is going to be fairly tricky. I think I can actually wait on the Lightning Skelemental, and I want to play Midnight Reaper and Grim Lavamancer. This way, if they activate the priest, I'm going to draw a card off the Midnight Reaper. And both life totals are high right now. This game's going to be pretty grindy. So yeah, the card advantage is going to be really important. And so they just play out a dragon, and it looks like they're not going to activate the priest. So now is my chance to use the Skelemental. I think I will just take that. And I wonder what they will do. I guess... No, I guess they could block so that it doesn't deal damage to them. But let's see. But yeah, I have the Midnight Reaper Skelemental combo going here too, which is nice. So yeah, they're just going to take the 6, but they're going to lose both cards in their hand here. Okay, let's go to the end step. Sacrifice the Skelemental, and now I think I may as well destroy the priest now. Getting the priest off the battlefield will also let me use the Cell's conscripts later. So we're definitely up on cards, but this dragon might become a problem. I currently can't really attack through it. But it looks like they're going to open up the game and make it aggressive by attacking. So I think it makes sense to just play this as aggressive as I can. They might trade with the Reaper here. It's fine with me. And they have Bedevil to destroy the conscripts. Okay, they're not going to be able to use their clue, though. I'm going to take 2 damage from the Reaper, but I'm going to draw 2 cards in the process. And I've already played my land, so let's see. Now, yeah, destroying this clue is free, so I'm going to do that. So they're going to get their dragon back, which is a bit of a problem. But yeah, they can't kill me with it in 2 turns. They're flashing back looting, so they're not affecting the board very much here. I definitely can't win the game this turn. I'm just questioning whether I have to use this Bloodstained Mire. I think I don't have to use it this turn. I can play... Definitely going to play Kenra and say that this cannot block. I think I just want to play all of these out and then use my Lavamancer ability. I should be able to activate Lavamancer twice here, because I have 2 cards in the graveyard, and then I can put the Bloodstained Mire in the graveyard, and one of these creatures is probably going to end up there too. There might be some cards that will kill me here that my opponent can draw. Okay, so we're going to get another turn. Okay, is my opponent dead on board here? I think they might be. I deal 2 damage with the Lavamancer to put them at 5. Then I attack with everything. Including the Lava Claw Reachers. They block 2 of them. 2 of them get through. The other ones die. Yeah, we just have lethal. All right, close game. Playing the mirror match. Opponent's deck looks pretty solid. We've got some big creatures that we will have difficulty removing. I can definitely consider making some changes. I could side out Vortex since I'm on the draw. I kind of like doing that. And then, yeah, maybe Burn Down the House. I would like this card. It's flexible. I'm on the draw. I can use both options in this matchup. I think that's what I'm going to go with. Bituminous Blast could also be decent, but let's try this one. Okay, a little bit awkward mana, but this is fine. We'll slow roll the Lavamancer. So Kenra is not looking great here, but there's probably not much I can do. I think it's just going to trade for one of these goblins, kind of no matter how this game plays out. So I'm just going to force them to make the trade, and I'm going to use all my mana. And I don't want to play out Grenzo. I want to save this for the late game to maximize its ability. Okay, they've left 3 mana up. So this feels like a pretty decent spot to just like play the Lavamancer and hold up Cathartic Pyre. I don't want my Laelia to just get removed right away, and I'd rather play it next turn so that I have a free land drop to make. And I might be able to use this Cathartic Pyre. We'll see. The sword was a solid draw. If they have something with 4 toughness, it's gonna... Okay, what just happened? Wow. I think they just did that on accident. Feel kind of bad, but we're gonna destroy that land. Okay, I'm just gonna go for the Laelia here. Yeah, that really sucks for the opponent. We might have had a good game there, but I think they were trying to tap their mana to play a 4-drop, and they just misclicked and activated the Den. So, sorry about that, opponent, but let's go to the next round. Okay, here we are in the final round. We have a really good-looking hand. We're going to be on the draw. I'm going to keep... The opponent has revealed their companion of Lutri, which this is definitely a sign of a good player in this cube. I think Lutri's, it's probably one of the higher picks because you can put it into any deck, and it's kind of just a great free card. Okay, so yeah, I can either play the Ragavan or play the Gorger. I guess I'll just play out the Ragavan. It looks like they might be a sacrifice theme with this Carrion Feeder. So our hand could definitely have trouble with that. Yeah, Krenko's command is kind of exactly what I was thinking of, but that's okay. We can hopefully stall until we get this Midnight Reaper. Just gonna wait on the Shield Breaker. There might be an artifact later I need to remove. Okay, and a Mayhem Devil. So yeah, we're gonna see if this sacrifice deck is any good here. It's definitely looking good at the moment. Okay, we draw Vortex, but I'm just going to want to get the Reaper down. Beating this deck it's going to rely on me having removal a lot. If I can break up their combos, then their synergistic cards are not going to be as good. So now I have to choose a creature to block. And I think Hellrider makes sense. But yeah, we're getting pretty far behind here. So yeah, I really just have some creatures that can chump block. So I think I'm dead here. I do like Fable of the Mirror Breaker. And yeah, we were definitely just dead here. So yeah, turn 1 Carrion Feeder, that hand really worked out well, and we had no removal. And it definitely showed the weakness of Vortex and Skelemental. These cards really only work on offense. So I might want to change my deck a little bit for this matchup. I'm thinking Murderous Redcap might be good. It can kill stuff like Zulaport Cutthroat or the Priest, so I'm thinking it might be pretty decent. So maybe I'll bring that in. Maybe take out one of these super aggressive cards. Maybe the Skelemental. No, let's take out the Vortex. My X1 creatures are also pretty weak, like Falconwrath Gorger. So yeah, I think I might just have to take that out. I'm going to put in Hordling Outburst because it's just good at blocking the other tokens or chump blocking a Carrion Feeder. I feel like I have to play that card. I think I just have to make my deck a little bit more controlling in this matchup. So yeah, I think Vortex will be the card to go. And I don't think I can change too much. Yawgmoth. Okay, I'm going to try to run it like this. Okay, this hand looks fine. Turn 2 Cathartic Pyre, we'll see if we can make good use of that. I'm going to want to use Skelemental when they don't have mana up, because you don't want it to get like lightning bolted. You want to get the full like 3-for-1 out of it. So okay, let's see. I think it's at the point where I can fetch now. And I could Skelemental here, but I don't think I don't really think there's any reason to do it. Let's go for the full combo. I'll play the Midnight Reaper. We'll see if they can remove it. Okay, they just play Imperial Recruiter. I'm not sure if the full like Kiki-Jiki combo is in this cube. I don't think so. That might be a thing that's in their deck. They get Extus. So let me see what that card does. Okay, they can use Awaken the Blood Avatar to make me sacrifice a creature, and then they get a 3/6 with haste. They can cast that for 4 mana. That's pretty good. Okay, let's see what I can do. Holding up Disintegration would be fine. But I think I just want to do this. Okay, and I definitely tapped wrong. I'm going to leave the Midnight Reaper back. They're going to take the damage. So yeah, I think I'm just okay if they use Awaken the Blood Avatar, because I'm going to be able to untap and use Unlicensed Disintegration. If they can copy that with Lutri, that's going to be pretty good. But that will cost them at least... I'll have to sacrifice 3 creatures and pay 5 mana. So that's not... Yeah, that is something that they can do. Okay, so yeah, they're going for the full sacrifice 3. And they're going to get a bunch of blood tokens here. No, they only get 1 blood token. Okay, I go to 14. Then I go to 11. So pretty awkward. I do need to draw lands here. And I would like to remove this token that they have, but I think it's better to use all my mana. And I can destroy their flyer. And I can chump block this avatar here. And I'm definitely way up on cards here. They do still have the Lutri. Okay, they have Hellrider as well. I don't think they can attack with the Hellrider here, though. Let's see, I'm going to take 2. Yeah, this is going to do a lot of damage to me. But okay, I get to remove the Hellrider. Okay, now, yeah, there's really nothing I can do. I have to destroy this creature. And yeah, I'm not feeling great about the situation. I need to try to remember what sort of haste creatures my opponent has. I don't know if there's that many. I'm just going to attack. It would have to be a ground haste creature. Okay, Lutri is in their hand. I can play 3-drop, or I can play 2 2-drops. Hordling Outburst. Let's see. I think Kolaghan's Command seems like the safe pick. Making them discard is pretty good because they do have these bloods, so even if they discard a land, that's fine. And they discard Bone Shards. Okay, so the card I really wanted to avoid was another one of these Krenko's commands that they could copy with their Lutri. I know Lutri is the last card in their hand. Okay, so they're going to have multiple 3/2s here. Okay, I do draw the land. That's pretty good. So now the question is, yeah, like how aggressive or how controlling do I want to be? I think I want to be more aggressive. I will die to removal. I don't want to make myself dead to removal, but yeah, I don't think I can do that. I want to play Lelia here, but they get so many chances at removal. I actually should have attacked there. No, I should not have. Destroy this. I needed to destroy this now. Otherwise, they can respond by... No, this is only activated sorcery. Okay, I didn't need to do that. But I think pretty much I was going to use Cathartic Pyre on one of the 3/2s. So that's the one I chose to use it on. Okay, they find their own Hordling Outburst. And okay, now I find Sword of War and Peace, so that's gotta be really good. Because it's gonna gain me 4 life. So I think I'll probably be able to run away with the game with this card. Nice, okay, so that was a timely draw, and yeah, I was happy to play the Hordling Outburst instead of go aggressive, just because I know there are not that many burn spells in the format. If you look at my opponent's removal, a lot of it's gonna just kill creatures. So okay, we're gonna go to a third game. Now, I might want to change up the deck even more. I might want to take out the Skelemental because I'm back on the draw now. So I have some cards that are okay. Burn Down the House. One of these sweepers. Yeah, I think Burn Down the House has to be pretty good. I'll take out the Skelemental. I'm definitely the controlling deck, it seems like. I think Grenzo seems kind of weak as well. But I think I like the deck how it is. So definitely respect to the opponent for making a nice black-red aggressive sacrifice theme deck. It does actually seem like it could be pretty strong. And yeah, I'll keep this hand. So we will see how fast my opponent's start is and how long I can defer. If I can stay alive and not commit too many cards down, then I can get a lot of card advantage off of this Burn Down the House. But it's likely that I will have to use at least one card here. So yeah, which one is it going to be? Maybe Hordling Outburst makes a lot of sense. I can just keep chumping, and then I can burn down the house. So I think that makes sense to at least start with that. I do at least want to play this one before the Ferocidon. That's kind of obvious. And Lelia is kind of the one I would like to save for the late game. But Inferno Titan is also really good. I kind of just need to survive to cast these cards. But I also need to hit my 5th land. I have 2 draw steps to do that. Okay, Goblin Bombardment. Okay, no attacks. That's good to see. Okay, I did draw the land, so yeah, there's really nothing to do here. I'm gonna just wait for a moment and just pass the turn. I'm basically just going to burn down the house in the next turn. we'll see if they commit anything else onto the board. They might be a little suspicious here of me leaving all this mana up. They could just put Lutri into their hand. No, they play Hellrider. Okay. So I'm definitely going to take some damage. But yeah, I'm definitely happy about that. Okay, they decided not to attack. So that's really the best case scenario for me. And now I'm kind of in an amazing position. So I can attack with all of these first, but I'm not going to bother doing that. So yeah, my opponent really did not play around a sweeper there. And they're going to get to use bombardment here to do 4 damage to me. I'm assuming they're not going to sacrifice this Enforcer. Yeah, so they still have the 1/1. But I'm definitely up on cards substantially here. And they put Lutri into their hand, so they have 1 unknown card and a Lutri. So if I play Lelium, they can trade their 2 creatures for it, but that's okay with me. This is the best play I have available. If I hit a land here, I'll be pretty happy. And really just stalling the game until I can play Inferno Titan. That card is going to be a problem. Okay, land is definitely good here. So I think I actually want to play Rampaging Ferocidon. Maybe I can play the Disintegration. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this is a little risky to use the Disintegration because this is one of my few cards that can kill dragons or things with 4 or 5 toughness, but just given the Goblin Bombardment on the battlefield, I need to not take a lot of damage. I really don't want to even take the 2 damage from this Bloodcaster. Okay, they did have Awaken the Blood Avatar, so that was the card I was thinking of. And I'm in a little bit of trouble now. Let's see. My opponent has Lutri in hand. Yeah, if they draw another creature, it can kill me. But let's see, how can I get out of this? Yeah, this is gonna be pretty close, I'm thinking. If they draw any creature, I'm dead on board. Well, the creature has to cost 4 or less. So, yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I also did not want to let that 2/1 attack me. So let's see what they have. Lutri. Removal kills me. Yeah, they had Bone Shards. All right, that was a really close match. Good end to the draft, and thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.